Ready for some fun?
Hello and welcome to the first of what I hope to be many follow-ups to my original review of Danger Rangers, as there's still so much to cover as I continue this deep dive into the show and its history. There's a lot to cover, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the first ever Danger Rangers Addendum. To start things off, something I was unable to fit into the original review due to time constraints. While Randy Rogel was the one responsible for the show's musical numbers, he wasn't the main composer for the show. That responsibility was in the hands of this man, Rob Podorf. Podorf might just have one of the most interesting composing resumes I've ever seen. He's done music for shows at Tokyo Disneyland, composed ride queue music for Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, composed scores for a slew of what I can only describe as mountain movies, and did music for a collection of Christian cartoons like Gigi, God's Little Princess, Hermie and Friends, and Little Dogs on the Prairie. Expect a video on Little Dogs on the Prairie soon. And if those sound familiar, then yes, these are the exact same cartoons featured in the preview sections of the religious DVDs. I was lucky enough to get in contact with him, and he was gracious enough to let me interview him about his time working on Danger Rangers, so give that a listen when you get the chance. Because YouTube clearly decided no one wants to see that. Got some more Korean Danger Rangers news to report on. In my video talking about the voice cast, I erroneously called Juden Sentai Kyoryuger Kyoryu Sentai Kyoryuger. I have no idea how I made that blunder since I wrote it properly in the script. I guess I can give the excuse that I recorded that video in the early morning hours because that was the only time I had available, and I just never noticed the error until someone pointed it out in the comments. So, oops. On the other hand, by some pure stroke of luck, I found a website that had the opening to the Korean dub.
안전을 우리들이 지킨다. 그 어떤 위험한 일도 우리가 해결해. 우린 Danger Rangers. Danger Rangers. Danger Rangers. Danger Rangers. 안전을 위해서 우리가 나간다. Danger Rangers, Danger Rangers, Danger Rangers, Danger Rangers! 함께 출동!
According to the credits, the opening was performed by Choi Hyang-yoon, who did the Korean opening to Evangelion and played Urara Ozu in the Korean dub of Maji Ranger, which, if you recall, Hoka Ozu's dub actress played Kitty. Oh, what I would give to see Korean magical sisters dance. Up next on the docket are some findings I found on Rob Paulsen's podcast, Talkin' Tunes. For the uninitiated, Talkin' Tunes is a podcast that involves Rob Paulsen interviewing and chatting with fellow voice actors and others in the animation industry. I haven't listened to every episode, considering there's a lot of them spread across multiple platforms, but Danger Rangers has come up a small handful of times. It got brought up in one of the mini-episodes with Randy Rogel.
Wait a minute, you mean the Luke Skywalker?
Mark Hamill goes, yeah, the guy that likes the Wookiee.
I go, damn, he's good.
Yeah, he should.
And then we work with Mark on Danger Rangers.
Yeah.
That. What a great
We
guy.
become very close. I love Mark.
Rob kinda sorta mentions it in the episode with John Kassir.
Remember we worked on Rescue Rangers together?
Yes.
What a
Jerry.
great group. Jerry Hauser, Mark Hamill, who else was in that? Candy Milo, I think, was on that. It was just a really great group of people. And
created and run by another voice actor,
right,
Jerry.
And the nicest, I know we say it all the time, but you can't say it enough. The most unpretentious, down-to-earth, mind-blowingly talented people.
And Grey Delisle Griffin brings it up in a live show.
I've had one Annie nomination, and I was against like Phil Hartman,
Seth MacFarlane. It was ridiculous, and it was the part that it was Kitty from the Danger Rangers, where I was embarrassed for them to even play it. It was, it's this little tiny safety show that we did.
Yeah, with the Danger Rangers.
And I was like, please don't play the clip. Oh God, please. Oh God. During the sort of
You want to win?
uncomfortable silence. Oh, it just even I knew I was gonna win, but just even watching myself amongst Phil Hartman and Seth MacFarlane, I was just like, people were like, what show is that? Who is that? What?
Yeah, she actually got nominated for an Annie Award for the Fires and Liars episode. Finally, when Rob revived the podcast in 2021, now running on Esports Arena, this happened during the first episode's Q&A.
Next question.
Hey Rob, this is a bit of an odd question. Do you have any recollections or interesting stories about your time working on Danger Rangers? I ask because I've been on this deep dive into the show's production, and of all shows to have a rabbit hole, it's this one. Bird also says hi.
Danger Rangers. Mark Hamill was on that. Who else was on that? Well, I was on that. I played a mouse. Something about mice. Biker mice, Pinky and the Brain. The thing I remember most about it was produced by my dear friend Jerry Hauser, whom you guys would know actor-wise from a great movie from when I was a kid called The Summer of 42. And check out Jerry Hauser. Also, I'm a big hockey fan. Jerry played Killer Carlson in Slapshot, the movie with Paul Newman. Just a wonderful friend. I spoke to him just last week. Jerry produced that show, and Randy Rogel, our friend from Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, wrote that music, and there was a lot of it in it. So, yeah, and I think also John Kassir, the Crypt Keeper, was on that show. And thank you very much for asking. There's another one that I forgot. Listen, when you're lucky enough to me, like me, to have made a living doing something you would do for free around people you would choose to have in your personal life, there really is no bad experience.
That's all I got for mentions on the podcast so far. If I find any more, I'll be sure to mention them in future addendums. Lastly, I found something that, somehow, managed to completely elude me when originally doing research for this show. And that basically boiled down to me looking in the wrong state. Now imagine, it's 2006. Danger Rangers was a bit of a PBS darling. It was getting showered with praise and was getting a decent amount of merch, not something you could say about everything airing on PBS Kids. But another thing you couldn't say about most PBS Kids shows was them getting a presence at theme parks. The biggest PBS juggernaut, Sesame Street, can be found at both Busch Gardens locations, all SeaWorld locations, and strangely enough, Universal Studios Japan and Universal Studios Singapore. Barney the Dinosaur, love him or hate him, managed to secure a spot at Universal Studios Florida for over a quarter of a century, and that only ended because the current events killed off the low attendance it had by that point. The Furchester Hotel, a UK-based Sesame Street spin-off, got a live show at Alton Towers, as did the Teletubbies. Basically what I'm getting at here is you had to really, and I mean really, make it big in the world if you wanted a spot in a theme park. And what I mean by that is Danger Rangers got a stage show at a theme park and no one told me. Finding comprehensive information on this stage show was like finding a needle in a haystack, especially when it came down to pinpointing where the stage show was based. All I had on hand were a few mentions of it on the old Educational Adventures website, and they don't specify where it took place. There was a press release about Educational Adventures teaming up with a company that specializes in stage show performances, which has basically been lost to time because the Wayback Machine can only do so much, and a mention on the awards page for an honorable mention the show got for Best Live Edutainment Show from the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, or IAAPA for short. That's cool and all, but none of these specify which amusement park it was at. If the site wasn't going to tell me where the show happened, then I had to look for it myself. The first park that immediately came to mind was Carowinds, which was a stone's throw away from Charlotte. However, the Wayback Machine revealed no Danger Rangers presence at the park whatsoever. If it wasn't at Carowinds, where was it? Well, I didn't need to look far. Theme park enthusiast site Coaster Buzz has an archived list of each year's winners and runner-ups at the IAAPA Awards. And located in the 2006 award list lies my answer: Dutch Wonderland, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Celebrate 50 years of creating lifelong memories at Dutch Wonderland. Remember what it feels like to laugh out loud, spend time together as a family, live in the moment before it passes you by. Adventures are around every corner, so come and celebrate 50 years of traditional family fun and create memories that last a lifetime. Only at Dutch Wonderland. Then, now and forever, a kingdom for kids. Don't miss Duke's surprise birthday party June 26th.
Dutch Wonderland is basically the other theme park located in the state of Pennsylvania. Despite the name, Dutch Wonderland is more of a medieval-themed park, with knights, princesses, wizards, and of course, dragons. So, why this park? Why go out of state when you have a pretty decent park right outside in your backyard? Well, 2006 was the year that Carowinds was sold to Cedar Fair Entertainment, so introducing a new stage show during a major shift in the park's development might not be the best of ideas. I assume Dutch Wonderland was chosen because it was more focused on families with young children, and the park was relatively smaller and more affordable to do partnership with. But there is a more obvious point of entry Educational Adventures went for, and that will come into play just a bit later. Now, when it comes to stage shows at this park, there are a small handful of stages on property to pick from. The first is what's known as the Aqua Stadium, which is a large pool where high diving stunts are performed, alongside a retelling of The Frog Prince, and an original story about adventuring with a dragon. There's the Celebration Theater, where Princess Brooke would read stories to children, and an amphitheater where Merlin and Mayhem would perform a comedy act, and where Bubba Bear and his friends host a country music concert. I have no idea how this fits into the medieval theme, but I'm just going to smile and nod. In addition, the park had other licensed properties rotate in and out of circulation. There was a Garfield show, a Thomas the Tank Engine show, a Hershey-themed game show of some sort, and wait, is that Maisie Mouse? So if you're a local theme park that's able to get the rights to Garfield and Thomas the Tank Engine, why go for a dinky little show like Danger Rangers? Well, here's where that point of entry comes into play. A character in the park known as Brandon, the Knight of Safety. Since the park was catered to families with young children, safety would obviously take top priority. And to have a character specifically created to teach safety to park guests, well, that's a match made in heaven. So what exactly is this stage show about? Well, according to this article from Blue Loop, the show stars Sully, Kitty, Burble, and a live host as they essentially present a sample platter of the safety topics the show discusses. The park website, circa 2006, classifies it as a musical message, so the songs definitely play a role in the show as well. But the big question I have is, who is carrying this show? Is the live host the one doing all the talking, or did Jerry, Gray, and Kevin record dialogue specifically for this production? I want to say it's the latter because the cast did record stuff outside of the show itself. Jerry voices Sully for a few of the DVD trailers, the Flash games see a return of Jerry and Rob, and apparently there were safety tips recorded for XM Radio's Kids station. Recording lines for a theme park stage show would practically be a no-brainer. After a successful run for the 2006 to 2007 season, the show returned for a second run in 2007 to 2008, this time with the inclusion of Gabriella. I assume they got Tazi in to record stuff as well. While the articles make no mention of it, I'm guessing the show ended following Educational Adventures' liquidation and sale to Chris Smith. Much like the show itself, it got snuffed out before things could flourish. For you see, the stage show wasn't just content with sticking around at Dutch Wonderland. Oh no. It was going to go elsewhere. There were plans to bring it to other theme parks, to local malls, to conventions, to resorts, to cruise lines. Dutch Wonderland was just the stepping stone for a much larger touring plan. Then Chris Smith stepped in, And that's not how the story goes. You've probably noticed by now that I've not shown a lick of footage from this show. And for good reason. I can't find it. The articles, the mention on Dutch Wonderland's old website, and this sole image of the Rangers themselves are the only pieces of evidence that the show actually happened. Because Dutch Wonderland is a lesser-known park, it doesn't have hundreds, if not thousands of videos I can sift through, especially considering the fact it was only operational for at most 3 years. So until I find even so much as a few seconds of footage, the Danger Rangers Safety Rules Live stage show is pretty much lost media. By the way, Danger Rangers did eventually make it to Carowinds, though only by technicality. Burble showed up for a JDRF walk at the park in 2012. I couldn't really find a place to insert this fact, so I'll just stick it here at the end. There's still plenty more to talk about, but this video's gone on long enough. There'll be plenty more addendums like this in the future, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time.